folks. Thanks for coming. My name's Lori. I'm the organizer with the Worcester Anti-Foreclosure Team, and we're here today to talk about the bill that is on the governor's desk, Senate 2015. To my right, I have Mildred Collins, who's one of our members from Worcester. To my left, we have Tricia Fiara from Shrewsbury, another member, and then we have Kate Calmaccio from Lunenburg. Yes, thank you. So, yeah.
Okay, so the bill is called an Act to Clear Title. It was written by the title industry. So its purpose is to change property law that we've had dating back to the Magna Carta, and in a sense to lower the risk of the titles being insurable. So I guess like titles are uninsurable right now because the banks sliced and diced them and moved them here or there, and there's a gap in the chain of assignment. So in order to get the risk lowered, they have to take away the rights of the homeowners who were foreclosed on. So going back 1 year in time from the date that it's passed and 3 years going forward from that point on. And by removing our rights to sue, the title would then essentially be clear enough to be insured, but it doesn't really clear the title.
So Kate, you're saying this is a really bad bill.
Yes, it's a very bad bill.
So we'd like to hear from one of our members. Maybe Mildred, you'd like to start and share your story.
Sure. Hi, I'm Mildred, and I live on Burlington Hill. I was foreclosed in January 2011. I have now twice won in a housing court that I still own my home. But I and several hundred other people like me across the Commonwealth will still lose our homes even though housing court has ruled that the foreclosures of our home is illegal if this bill becomes law. It has been to the State House. I have been to the State House many times. I've spoken to plenty of our representatives. They don't even understand this bill. Why would you sign a bill that our elected officials don't even understand? It is unfair to take our rights that we have had for over hundreds of years, from 20 years to one, to save our homes. And moving forward, people that haven't gotten foreclosed on yet, but will have 3 years. It takes longer than that for you to figure out all the violations that the banks did. It is a long time to unravel everything that the banks have done and get through all the court processes. New decisions that help homeowners isn't coming down all the time. Why would you deny homeowners the opportunity to take the right of their homes away?
Good question. Thank you, Mildred. How about you, Kat? Would you like to share your story?
Yeah, my name is Patricia Ferreira. I'm a proud American citizen, and when I came to America, I came to study in Harvard, English, and then I decided to go forward and do something different, and do social services. And then after so many efforts, I decided to buy a house, and then I bought a house in condominium in Shrewsbury. And then when I discovered that my mother has a terminal aggressive cancer, I decided to go to Brazil and take care of her. But before I go, I decided to sell the house in order to be there and then take care of my mother. Then I discovered that Mass Housing said that the house, I discovered that Mass Housing sold me a house with a defective title. And one day before the closing, I discovered that, so I could not sell the house. So I went to Brazil, and then over there I was calling the lawyer, and then nobody gave me an answer. When I came back, I decided to pursue and sell the house to pay whatever was owed from the house. Then for the second time I lost the deal, and I discovered 2 days prior to the closing again that I could never sell the house because the house didn't belong to me. And it's not fair. And what I'm gonna do with a 6-year-old child will be end up going to homeless because nobody could help me. So the WAF team helped me a lot, and I was so blessed that everybody was giving me support. And this bill is gonna be horrible because what am I gonna do if this passes? This is my story.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So even people trying to be responsible and do the right thing are defeated by this bill. So, you can ask us some questions.
Oh, sure. What ended up happening?
Oh, I'm still waiting.
She's stuck in limbo land.
Yeah, the court gave me paperwork and back and forth, and I was like, still, the house doesn't belong to me, doesn't belong to another person with a paper for
They don't really know who owns it because there's a break in the chain of titles.
I have the bill, I have the note, I have to pay, but the physical property is not mine. You know, what am I gonna do?
The bill is trying to solve a problem, as I understand it. Do you think there's a better way to solve that problem? Is there a compromise, or is this bill just...
We have a bill on the table, the foreclosure review court.
For foreclosure?
Foreclosure review court, so it would be a specialized, you know, a venue, like a specialized court inside the regular court system that would be able to fact find and look at each different situation and figure out who the real owner is in each one, and then do, you know, what's it called? To basically pay back each person. Like some of these properties have been sold and resold and resold, so there's multiple people factored in that have been wronged by the wrong person selling them property. So, you know, the court would be able to
It would be one
hold
court
someone
that would
accountable.
know completely the laws, not having judges that aren't sure of laws and interpreting them differently, and then it has to go from to the appeals court and then to the SJC and all the way up the ladder, and then some people have gotten really good decisions after they've climbed that whole ladder. This would hopefully make it so we have judges that would actually know completely the foreclosure.
Like in Mildred's case, she wanted housing court, but because housing court doesn't have the jurisdiction to actually give her title back, she's stuck in limbo land too. So the only way for her to actually get a clear title on her property would be to sue the bank that's billing her again now, or go to Superior Court because they have the jurisdiction to actually clear title.
Wow. So forgive me for not knowing this, but do these foreclosure review courts exist anywhere else, or would this be a brand new thing?
It would be brand new in Massachusetts.
In Massachusetts.
But it exists in other states?
There are a couple other states that are doing it.
Do you think Massachusetts, or Worcester in particular, is especially hard on people who are being foreclosed?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we don't have foreclosure judicial review, so the banks haven't been held accountable for any of the things that they've done. No judge has actually overlooked anything unless the person was smart enough to know to stay in the home and then be brought to court themselves, in housing court, in an eviction case, instead of it being in land court or superior court.
And rather than we don't go to Superior Court in the first place, because we have to prove the ownership and everything. If we go through housing court, we have the right to ask them all these questions and to challenge them.
Has the housing court been proposed by any lawmakers, or is this just an idea that's being brought up by you?
But we have a bill in the
Oh,
in
you
the House.
do have a bill right now?
Yes, we do.
Oh, okay, sorry.
To go through the,
So we have a right way to fix this problem on the table already.
This is one of the bills to set up a brand new court for a specific focus on this particular area of law.
Yes, it is.
We already have a housing court system which deals pretty much with tenant-landlord relationships. And this is a whole brand new twist to their arena. The traditional use of housing court has not been to deal with these super designer mortgages and securitized pooling mortgages that have come along since the last 15, 20 years. So when the train wreck occurred in 2005 to 8, and suddenly all these new designer loans exploded basically, and there was this avalanche of foreclosures that followed. It was an extra burden and a whole new area of law for the housing court to try to address. It bottlenecked the housing court, and it presented aspects of law that were very new and very unfamiliar to them. And as a result of that, we've seen a series of Supreme Judicial Court decisions that have helped clarify certain areas, but this process is still continuing, and still the water is settling and the issues are being clarified. So to have this new bill come along now, especially now when the issues are still not entirely settled, it further encumbers and robs individuals who were harmed, victims of illegal foreclosures, in such a way that, let's say this passes and is signed into law, Next year, the SJC has another ruling, which is a year out from the time that this law gets signed. Suddenly, all those people that would have normally benefited from the clarification of the SJC are now suddenly left without remedy because of this fast-track, sidestepping liability bill. It does not help the victims at all. What it does is it fast-tracks illegal foreclosures and sidesteps liability of those who have perpetrated them, while robbing the victims of their 200-plus-year-old right to defend against their property. I mean, we didn't see this kind of activity in the United States since the time of the colonial period. 1763 is the next closest period we've seen of this many foreclosures per capita. And we all know what happened from that. It helped spark the sentiment that led into the American Revolution. And we are definitely at those same proportions today. I'm not saying we're going to have a revolution, but the issues are on par with the environment that precipitated that. Even in the Depression, the Great Depression of the 1930s, we are 3 times higher in our rate per capita in foreclosures than that period, which was probably the next worst period that anyone can remember. And those individuals that lived through that are now in their 80s and 90s. They were children and teenagers when that happened. So we're looking at a substantial problem here that's not just affecting the Commonwealth, but the entire country. Making laws in states that sidestep liability and basically backdoor endorse the illegal activities of these foreign corporations and bankers is not the answer. We're supposed to be a commonwealth, not a common theft.
And this law will not clear the titles.
Sorry?
By passing this Senate 2015, it will not clear the titles still.
Which is what it says it does.
It only
All of
takes
the
a-
illegal documents are still on file at the Registry of Deeds. Not a single one is corrected. All that they've done is sidestep their liability for the title insurance industry.
What they don't realize is it takes a lot longer than 1 or 3 years to be seen in court. I was foreclosed on in 2008. I still haven't had a day in court. So I'd be screwed if they pass this because I'd be in the 1 year.
Then they
And I
just
didn't
wait,
get to
they
see
could
it
wait
either.
till that period to end and then
Yeah.
try to evict you. You suddenly have no rights to assert your defense.
Absolutely. And meanwhile, all of the
Take away your right to sue.
interest and your interest rates and all of your late fees are accumulated. So that's added to all of it.
Stacked deck, not in the victim's favor.
And you know, the people that are writing this bill, which me and Mildred, we met and we lobbied at the State House. And Senator Moore was the one who wrote the bill, right? Senator Moore?
Yeah.
He didn't even know, Michael Moore, he didn't even have a clue what was in the bill. How
Senator
did he write
Moore
it?
is less.
How did he write it if he didn't even know? Remember you asked him a question about it? He didn't know, he didn't even know how to answer the bill.
It's a very complicated issue. It's, in Massachusetts, we have property rights and we also have possession rights. There are 2 separate venues. There's some overlap, but there's 2 distinctions. A lot of complications in this bill don't address those specific areas of interest, and it makes it all more complicated and, again, undoes 200-plus years of settled law.
Do you have any questions for us, maybe?
I'm not, just to clarify for a beginner like myself, to clear the title, what would it take to do that if this law would not?
It would take a judge to actually fact find and to go through each individual situation and see who, where the break in the chain of custody is. Like, so if
When you say clear, you just mean establish ownership.
basically find out who, what 2 parties were originally the ones on the deed, yes. So like, if I took out a mortgage and, this mortgage company sold to this company, this company sold to this company, this company sold to that company, and you've got, 6 different companies involved. So you've got me and 6 companies. Somewhere in the assignments where it moved, someone made a mistake or, didn't record it right or, some error was made. And so that's what's making the titles unclear. So in order to find out, some judge would have to go through all of the paperwork to see where the mistake was made and who owned it. And like, if it was sold to another person besides me, then there would be, people that were wronged along the way that need compensation.
Like for myself, my loan was originated in New Century, they went bankrupt, and when the company goes bankrupt, they only have so much time to assign it to another company. Mine didn't get done to 2.5 years later, which is way out of the legal picture.
A couple of people have mentioned talking to legislators and they don't seem to know the details about this bill. What are some questions if I were to call Senator Moore or others? What have you asked them if you've been unsatisfied with the responses?
When you go
Read the bill, read it.
how would this clear my title? If someone's had a loan, the company went bankrupt, and the law is you only have X amount of time to assign it to a mortgagee, and you do it way outside the picture, how are you going to fix that?
Okay. Anything else?
So how are you going to fix the time limit? Is that what you're saying?
Or fix the bill itself.
The title.
How are you going to fix my title when you're the bank's the one that broke the chain of?
Yeah,
How could this bill do what a judge is supposed to do?
The judges don't even know either.
Some of these breaks, in fact, a large amount of these breaks aren't just simple mistakes or clerical errors. They're willful, intentional fraud and forgery, and well outside of their very specific instructions of how to have done it properly, from their internal procedures also, and the law too. So it's not just somebody made a mistake and put a wrong in there.
He's trying to write.
It's not just somebody here made a mistake. There was willful intent to defraud people with robo-signed documents, affidavits that were outright lies. A lot of layers here to this, and again, giving these people a free pass and an easy sidestep for their legal activities, and then doing it even more so at the expense of their victims, is a huge injustice.
John, when you say they, who do you mean by they?
Well, the banking industry in general, but a lot of this occurred by not just the lenders, the people that you had your original mortgage note with, but when they sold it or assigned the mortgage, there were a series of third-party buyers and also servicers that handled the process of taking payments from individuals and applying escrow monies and paying profits to whoever invested. So the services are probably at the forefront, and their lawyers. There's various law firms, there were foreclosure mill law firms that specialized on a really grand scale, that had some bills without mentioning it specifically.
Too much.
He asked who was involved. There's a lot of people, a lot of players here.
So there's 68,000 people that have been illegally foreclosed on in Massachusetts. Okay, the foreclosure review court would be the one that would probably pick up most of those people that would have been knocked out by the bill that's currently on the governor's desk, right?
Yes, I mean, the foreclosure review court would give them justice instead of taking their rights away.
Only if there is no notification going along with this bill to the 68,000 people that have had this happen. So unless people would not know that this is happening, your whole year would be gone by, and you probably would not even know that that was happening.
I thought I read that there was an amendment to the bill that you had to.
The notification is, I believe, just a website right now.
Okay, so that's
So
not
if you're not a computer person like myself, you
Plus it's
are
in
going to not know.
When even if you are, how do you know to go look for, do a Google search for that particular thing?
And the thing is that this has happened to a lot of our older people in the Commonwealth, and not all of them are computer savvy either. A lot of them are, but not all of them.
And a lot of the things that they're doing are illegal. So why would we think to look up illegal things? Oh, they wouldn't do that, because they're not supposed to do that, but they still manage to do it. And each individual situation, there is a lot of compounded similarities in all the things that are going on with the banks and us homeowners, but then each individual, all of us, each individual situation is different, things that have happened. and they don't take the time to read or go through and see what each one of us has gone through. A lot of it might be the same bank. Oh, yours was foreclosed on too, but the bank that owned my home didn't even, that when I foreclosed on my home, didn't even own it. So we all have different, but then we all have similarities. They're all doing the same things, a lot of us.
If I were to look up this foreclosure specific court, what number or identifier would it be?
Just got asked that earlier.
Which bill number is that?
Okay.
That's fine. I don't have any other content specific questions.
Thank you.
Do you have good understanding of?
I don't know if I have as good an understanding as you all do, but I think I have enough of it.
Well, we hope you never, ever have to walk in the shoes of us. That's the only way we have this understanding.
I appreciate that. Can I get quickly spellings of names? I got Mildred Collins, that's pretty easy, but I don't know if I got it.
Mine is Patricia, P-A-T-R, Patricia. Ferreira is F as in Frank,
E-O-R.
E-I-R-A.
Okay.
I'm Kate,
Yep.
and it's Palmacho, P-A-L-M-A-C-C-I-O.
Thank you guys. Didn't know if I got it right.
You know, and if I could just say one more thing, the devastating effects that this has had on individuals, on families, on neighborhoods, our economy, you know, in Massachusetts, it's just had a crippling effect. And it's partly the reason that we're in the economic downfall that we're in. So it's a very serious issue.
And the other part is that they actually, between 2005 and 9, the bubble that they put,
2002 and 2007.
2002 and 2007, the property values skyrocketed to what was not realistic.
Yeah.
They said your home that's really worth $100,000. They were now giving you loans up to $250,000, $300,000, but the equity was not really there. It's just
It's inflated.
inflated.
False inflated.
Chris?
One other thing here, the way that this got passed, we have organized a huge statewide effort to stop this bill. Is it 3 times we stopped it?
This would have been the third.
This would have been the 3rd time. And the first 2 times, we organized a consensus among the legislators that this bill should not pass. The second time they tried to sneak it through and we caught it. This time they did sneak it through. This makes a travesty out of our democracy when they can pull stuff like this and get away with it.
Yeah?
And why a legislator is agreeing to a bill they don't even understand. And that was stated several times when we were at the State House from each individual legislator that they didn't even understand these bills.
And so if it's a fact that they know that a large percentage of the 68,000 people in Massachusetts are, people of color or single women, so if you were to take away specifically just those rights, then in a way it's unconstitutional. It's like targeting a group of people. Minorities.
But this is unconstitutional no matter what.
I mean, they need to take the time to read the bill, and the whole bill in length. Because if they read the bill and if they still don't understand, they come to the people that have been experienced in it and have been through it, and maybe we can enlighten you. They don't read it, they don't come to us.
They think it's just a quick fix.
This bill is a
We think
Trojan horse.
going
It's
to cause a
mislabeled.
lot more problems.
We don't have the money that the insurance industry does, but we do have the people power.
Power and numbers.
And that's where we're coming from. And what's our saying? When we fight,
We win.
when we fight,
We win.
when we fight,
We win.
All right.
Well, thanks for that, guys.
Oh, we thank you for
I've never been the only
coming here.
reporter that
That makes you very special.
I know. I feel
Which
special.
paper are you with?
Worcester Magazine.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Noah Bumgart's not there anymore, though, is he?
It's a massive.
Oh,
you, Matt.
You did?
Nice to meet you.
So,
No.
So, who's running